Coming at you live from not the Jasper Park Lodge. It's Edmonton, it's Buffalo this afternoon. The return of the toothless wonder in Ryan McLeod. His first game back in Edmonton since the Stanley Cup Finals. And something tells me that this is not the game that the fine folks of Buffalo really care about this weekend. But we've got Oilers and Sabres coming at you live from Rogers Place this afternoon. Hello, what up, and welcome to Pre-Gaming with Bordzy, an early afternoon edition of Pre-Gaming. Cheers, it is in fact Saturday. Going down pretty smooth already. Reminder, we're brought to you by Sherwood Ford the Giant, and Pre-Gaming is a presentation, sorry Brett, of Bet365. Download the app today, use the promo code NATION, because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. I'm joined by the one, the only, the man behind hockeyfights.com, who I guess has been a little bit less busy. Shout out intern Peyton, been helping out with Hockey Fights as well. But Daniel, how are we doing? It's an early one here for a start today, and I was online this morning. Daniel, we could not have more different pre-gaming routines. Here I am, waking up super late, slept in, doing everything in a rush. Then I check my notifications. You went out and decided to run 10K this morning before this show. Brother, I don't even know if I've taken 10 steps this entire day so far. Daniel, how we doing? How was the pace on the run this morning?
You know, it wasn't actually as bad as some of the sidewalks in Edmonton will allow during these winter times. But yeah, I think we're both victims of our own upbringing within this company. I, of course, started in 2008 or 2017 with a stupid bet where I agreed to wear shorts for as many days as it took for the Edmonton Oilers to get back below 500. And Aaron, that took over 500 days, to the point where I actually got asked to stop wearing the shorts because it was becoming like a danger thing, legal thing for the company. So then I pivoted it to running. And as many people know that have followed me along in my journey, I used to be 450 pounds, and now I'm down to nice clean svelte 240 on a good day, 230 on a really good day. But yeah, I love to just kind of get out for the run, and lets me collect some of my thoughts. I've been thinking about the Buffalo Sabres. I've been thinking about the Vancouver Canucks and how that game went. And I've been really thinking about Corey Perry and how much I enjoyed his last effort there for the Oilers. So excited to be here talking to you. But yeah, I'm definitely built different, I think.
My boy is built different, and I hate to say it, I never knew Fat Dan. All I've ever known is very in shape Daniel, who is in better shape than I am probably. I don't think I'm running any 10K at this point right now. We got Dan joining me throughout the whole afternoon, and I guess technically evening if you think about Oilersnation After Dark. And we will be joined by Tyler Yaremchuk, possibly from the ice, possibly from the hot tub. Who knows? He's down in Jasper for the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament. He'll join us a little bit later on in the show, talk about the Sabres, talk about his other Buffalo team that's got a big game this weekend, and of course, how everything's going down at the JPL for this Pond Hockey Tournament. Regret to inform you, but the boys did lose to Flames Nation last night, and we'll have Tyler. He can answer for what happened out there on the ice, but a little disappointing, fellas. But Pat did just say they won their last game this afternoon, so hey, it's all about if you can win your final game of the tournament. Before we get into anything, I want to give a shout out to Odd Company for the Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Perfect for game day, perfect for every damn day. You can pick them up 2 locations in the Edmonton area, or check out liquorconnect.com. Find out which local liquor stores are carrying these bad boys, and you yourself can be drinking these during Edmonton Oilers games, or as it says on the bottom, any damn day, every day of the week. These things hit. Let's check in with the chat before we start unpacking this one. It's Austin, because of course it's Austin. He says, Bordzy, fire up this band, baby. Morning, my ON fam. Game day in oil country. We know what to do. Doesn't matter what time of day. Line them up. Knock them down. Austin, you get me hype every single pregame. Mark, tops in the Pacific Division. Here we come. Cup, yeah. See, it doesn't work the same when I don't have my producers in the same building with me right there, but I'll make my own echo.
Cup
year,
year.
cup year. Sam L. So Colorado does us a favor by trading away their superstar player. Cup year. That one we will unpack in just a moment. Did not have that on my Friday late bingo card going down yesterday. Southpaw, let's get the win streak going. Early prediction 4-2 Oilers. Mr. Burns with a let's go Oilers. Let's go 2 for 3 without our captain Connor McDavid. Like this from Westside Shane. Pop the choke, pull the cord, fire it up. Bet Leon 2+ points every damn game. You know Leon 2+ points is in Bordzy's bankroll. It's in there pretty much every game, but if you're going to take 97 off the ice, we know we're going to lean on 29. Kiana, beautiful day in Edmonton for a big orange W. Let's go, boys. And then just Lance, a nice and simple. Dan, give it to me here. A cup year.
Cup year.
Cup year. Amanda, today's a beautiful day for an Oilers W. Well, yesterday was a beautiful day for some trade announcements. Some breaking news went down yesterday, and I did not see this one coming. A blockbuster trade involving 3 teams. Hit it for me here, Brett. The Carolina Hurricanes, it's not for a lack of trying every year. Remember last season they acquired Jake Gensel at the deadline, not able to re-sign him. Well, they're at it again as they acquire Mikko Rantanen, Taylor Hall, and Nils Juntorp. I do believe it's how you say that. Chicago gets a 3rd rounder because they are retaining, I think, 50% of Mikko Rantanen's salary. And then it's the Avalanche getting Marty Necas, Jack Drury, a 2025 second, and a 2026 4th round pick. And there's so much to unpack in this one. I guess we'll take it from the Colorado perspective first, because they had been going through it this season, right? Very disappointing start. And a lot of that blamed on goaltending, the lack thereof of goaltending from Alexander Georgiev. And I already forget how to say the other guy's name, but we'll just move past it. They go and acquire Mackenzie Blackwood. He's been awesome since joining the Avs. We've seen the uptick in production throughout that entire lineup. They have the confidence of the goalie behind them, but apparently not, because the Avs then shipped out one of the best players in the NHL this season, last season, for the last 5 years, if you ask me. And one of the biggest mid-season trades that we have seen in a very long time, trades involving top 10 players. And you can argue me all you want. Mikko Rantanen is a top 10 player in the NHL. They do not happen very often, let alone mid-season, substantially before the NHL trade deadline. So start from the Avs perspective. I'm curious your thoughts, Daniel, because there's a lot of discussion about Rantanen being a free agent at the end of the season, the Avs not being able to come to terms on an agreement throughout this season so far. I did read some people online, some writers in the Avs area, calling it a, quote, panic move from the Avalanche. And then you look at the return. Marty Necas, great player, having an awesome season. Jack Drury, good, lots of potential. But I argue you will never get better when you're trading away players like Mikko Rantanen, especially when you're in the win now mode that the Colorado Avalanche are. Even if we hadn't re-signed Leon Draisaitl, there's no way that I'm looking Connor McDavid in the face and saying, we're going to trade away your running mate, the second best player on this team, right before you're gearing up for a long, hopefully, NHL playoff cup run. Daniel, I'm curious your thoughts on the Colorado side. Do you like this trade for them? Do you hate this trade for them? What do you think?
Well, I mean, there is so many angles that you can take to look at it. I really do think that this is very telling of an organization in Colorado that's playing business first and really doesn't care about your feelings later when the writing's on the wall that they're not going to be able to re-sign Rantanen. They're going to go and acquire some transactional, return for him instead of letting him go as a free agent in the offseason. I understand that people feel like it is a panic move just because anytime a big trade happens, we all kind of tend to look at the other organizations that may have been a fit for Rantanen and say, oh, well, the package that they could have offered may have been better. Well, the unfortunate thing is we just don't know. But yeah, I mean, Colorado is a team that it seems like maybe they're asking their superstars to ascribe to the Nathan MacKinnon way of thinking, which is lower your cap hit so that we can bring in some more talent to insulate you and make you not have to do as much work. Do you really need $15 million versus $12 million? When does the greed end? But I don't necessarily support them to that end either, in saying that Carolina comes off like gangbusters here. They get some skilled players in Rantanen and then Taylor Hall from Chicago as just a throw-in because Chicago exists. Like, I know we've heard rumors that Taylor Hall has been available. So obviously the Chicago Blackhawks were not getting any kind of an offer that I think is worth their while, because they just threw him into this deal for a 3rd round pick. There's the value just doesn't make any sense there. So yeah, credit to the Carolina Hurricanes for pouncing in a situation where Colorado feels like maybe their hands are tied, but maybe if you waited until we got closer to the deadline, something may have shaken loose for you.
I think it just goes to show that exactly what you mentioned, and somebody in the chat here said it. They wanted him to take less money. Yeah, to me, this is on Rantanen. He obviously wanted more money than Nate, and that was not going to happen. Fighting Amish. Natchez is getting no love. He's a better player defensively for sure, and he can put up points. He's a great player, having a great season. He was leading the NHL in points for a substantial stretch this year. Only guy behind him was Nathan MacKinnon. Now they're teammates. Maybe they'll be line mates. Who knows? We'll find out. Matthew says, remember when we wanted Taylor Hall earlier this year? I don't. I never fucking wanted Taylor Hall on this team. I went out and said, this guy is so washed. I do not understand it. He's had one 20-goal season since his MVP year against the New Jersey Devils. And the writing was on the wall for Taylor Hall. He had mentioned how he wanted to stay in Chicago, sign, and finally have a home, have a city to call his home. But nope, this is going to be his 7th team in his NHL career. And he's been in the rumors for weeks. He's been healthy scratched at points, I do believe. And I think it is a good secondary pickup for the Hurricanes. Hopefully he'll be playing in an insulated role where he's not asked to do a ton to provide that secondary scoring. And we know what Halsey can do. The only thing is, can he stay healthy? Who knows? I got one more thing to add on. Then we will get joined by our pal, Tyler Remchuk. But we got all that drama and all that news last night. And then they poured some gasoline on that fire a little bit. Our boy Frank Saravalli involved, teasing, this might not be the biggest deal that we see in the next 48 hours. And then Kevin Weeks goes on Twitter and delivers a cryptic Instagram-looking story like a teenage girl of just a photo of the Pittsburgh Bridge, leaving all of us to go, holy shit, is it happening? Could it actually happening? Thinking maybe Sidney Crosby could be dealt with. Of course, we've always heard the rumors about the Colorado Avalanche and Sid. Let me say right now, I do not believe that Sidney Crosby is going absolutely anywhere. But if you were online last night, you saw the Chicklets rumor boys just stirring it up with no real information. Like I said, throwing gas on a fire that I don't even know what the fire is. Daniel, I know you feel a little passionately about this with the insiders and what they're doing. I don't know. I highly doubt Sid's going anywhere. But Dan, what was your reaction to the Frank tweet, all the insiders' tweets, and then, of course, Kevin Weeks with the super, super cryptic tweet?
Well, we talked about this. I think the hockey universe talked about this a little bit when the Bruins and Spit and Chicklets were going back and forth about their rumor talks, where the rumor talks started to blur the lines and become reality, and the fighting there between the Bruins and Swayman. And I think that this is just kind of a part of that conversation. And when I say that I'm going after these insiders specifically, I just think that they have to be really careful with explaining where these photos are coming from. Like, there's obviously a follow-up conversation after that, but man, oh man, on its face, to me as a guy sitting on the outside looking in, it just looks like we're getting clickbaited for something, for some engagement in an age where, and especially in a time where we're coming up to trade deadline time, and all of us are going to be telling everybody, be careful. You got the right Kevin Weeks. Do you have the right Elliot Friedman? Well, you're starting to blur the lines a little bit more and open up the door for a little bit more of that trolling to come in when you're trolling us to begin with this stuff. And again, I say all this with the thought that maybe they do come out and explain where that trade or where that photo did come from. Maybe there was rumblings that Pittsburgh was going to do something, but I just, like, in the age of clickbait, and as a guy that gets yelled at for posting clickbait all the time, anytime I post a fight that isn't a 5 or 10 star fight, people get upset and call it clickbait. I'm not accusing them of that, but I'm just saying you're starting to blur that line. You're getting dangerous there.
Yeah, there is a lot of that clickbait stuff nowadays. Obviously, we play a role in it. My line always, don't hate the player, hate the game. Now let's get joined by our pal out in the JPL. But before that, I do want to give an ad read for the nation vacation coming up, people. March 30th to April 2nd. We're headed to Viva Las Vegas, presented by Flair Airlines. You can visit nationgear.ca for more details. Come on, April 1st, the Oilers taking on the Golden Knights. We'll be watching it from the Stella Artois Lounge, nice and bougie up top in Vegas. We're going to be staying on Fremont Street. Going to be an incredible time. Check the website, nationgear.ca, for those details. We got flight options. We got non-flight options. And then, of course, you'll never know, but there might be some prizes and raffles coming up on our socials and somebody else's socials coming by where maybe you'll be able to come on it. But without further ado, let's bring him in now. The one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Tyler Yaremchuk, live from the Jasper Park Lodge. Ty, how we doing today? How has the tournament been going so far? Did you guys win earlier this afternoon?
So we lost last night, nail biter to Team Flames Nation. That one was upsetting for us, but they had Johnny Lazarus, so you can't really blame us. This morning, we played against Aaron Volpati, a guy who played like 100+ games in the NHL, and some other guys who played pro, so we lost by 6 in that game, and then in our final round robin game, the boys showed up. We found some chemistry, some synergy. Shout out to our boy Coombsy, who had an unbelievable game, and everyone found their role, and we won. I think it was 24-11. We smoked them.
Atta boy, I'm proud of you. Also, shout out Coombsy, going from South America honeymoon, all the way to Jasper immediately. His tan really standing out there on the ice. But it's obviously an amazing week down there at the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament. Tell us about the shenanigans so far. You played Flames Nation last night, obviously. I listened to ONR. Listening to Waz trying to get his parking spot, I wanted to beat my own head against the wall of classic Waz frustration. And then I'm checking socials this morning, and I look, Tyler, shout out to Jeff Merrick, totally hijacking your interview. How did you get that mark on your back? You get beat up at these tournaments, dude. I do want to see it.
I got like a full-on bruise and like a rash there, but also I'm not even the worst one now. So I got like upended sort of when I was trying to cut through a couple of players. So I got my feet taken out from behind. So when I went up, I had nothing to brace me, just hip bone on the ice. But then today, Jay caught a clearing attempt off his knee. And I'll send you the picture, Aaron. It is gnarly. It looks like there's a nation beer on his knee. It's so swollen right now. It's disgusting. So we're playing a little bit banged up. We're getting ready to have a watch party down at the main cabin here at the Fairmont JPL. Then we have our final game after that. We'll see what kind of shape we're in for that one. But we're having a great time. I mean, it's such beautiful surroundings out here. Tourism Jasper does such a great job of putting this on. And this year we partnered with Yeti and Booster Juice and all of our great clients and partners. And we're really kind of, I think, taking this thing up a notch here, which is great because when you go into town, you kind of get a reminder of the devastation that this area went through. Even just now, I look out the window, and before when we look here, it's lush, it's green, it's these pine trees, and now it's just burnt trees and all of this. You get a reminder of why we come out here and why we want to support the Jasper community the way we do. I love that you're wearing your Jasper Bears sweater right now as well, because that's obviously a massive part of it this year is helping this community kind of get back to what they once were.
If you want to help out, go visit nationgear.ca. You can buy one of these bad boys. They're also just sick. This is one of my favorite sweaters. Shout out to Kennedy. But Ty, you just mentioned you got the watch party for the afternoon, a matinee game between the Oilers and Buffalo Sabres. I joked. I think everybody in Buffalo is concerned about a different sports game going on this weekend. But nonetheless, this Buffalo team, he said, looking at them, it's like looking into a past life that I once lived. The 13-year playoff drought, eerily similar to the decade of darkness. It's disappointment after disappointment with the squad this year. Nonetheless, last in the Atlantic, last in the East, third last in the entire NHL. And they've got all this talent, this young talent, top 10 draft pick after top 10 draft pick. And a number of those guys have been traded, and they find themselves in the very same position once again. This might not be a pregame style question for you, but this Buffalo team in this bigger picture, where the hell do they go from here? Obviously, this season, I do not think is going to be salvaged. I can't believe Kevin Adams still has a job and is able to keep this regime running. What do you think kind of comes next in Buffalo? We've heard Dylan Cousins' name mentioned a ton. We've heard all kinds of Bowen Byram, who was just acquired this past deadline. Where are you at with the Buffalo Sabres? Because it's looking ugly right now, dude.
Yeah, so I think there's a little bit of like good news, bad news for Buffalo. The good news is the Bills are absolutely electric. So you can ignore the Sabres for most of the year. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go to the Super Bowl on Sunday. The bad news is you feel like you're staring down the barrel of having to restart again. You had this young core 2-3 years ago. Cousins, Jack Quinn, JJ Peterka. You acquire Tage Thompson, and you get this great deal. And then on the blue line coming into this year, it's like, oh my God, Dahlin and Power and Byram and Yokoharu. Samuelson was back and healthy, and it's like they have 6 defensemen under the age of 26 who all look like studs, and now it's fallen flat on your face. And you have to sit there if you're Kevin Adams. I agree with you. I don't know how he still has a job at this point, but if you're Kevin Adams, you have to sit there and go, okay, this core can't get it done, so it's reset time. And what does reset time mean? You're trading a Dylan Cousins. You're trading a Bowen Byram. Jack Quinn's on Frank's trade targets board now too. And you're offloading all of these guys to get back to a point where you can try again. And you just know, if you're a Sabres fan, you're looking right now going, well, we've seen this song and dance 3-4 times, right? There were the early rebuild, then there was the Eichel rebuild that didn't work. Then you reset again and you did this, and now this didn't work. So you're signing up for another, 2 to 4 years of pain now in Buffalo. There's no light at the end of the tunnel for this Sabres organization right now, which is a shame because you'd love to see them, and you'd love to see those kind of long-suffering sports fan bases get some amount of reward, but it's looking way more likely that it's a Bills Super Bowl that delivers it to them more than a Sabres playoff appearance.
Let's go Josh Allen. Believe in Josh Allen. You got the whole city on your back. Dan, you got one?
Oh yeah, well, Tyler, I'm curious now with the Oilers Nation team at 1-2. What does our playoff hopes? What do they look like now?
So there's an A, a B, and a C final. It's a 6-team division, but we do know Team Flames Nation is undefeated, and there's another team that's undefeated, and they didn't play each other. So if there's 2, 3-0 teams, then that means there's a chance there's 2, 0-3 teams. So 1-2 might be enough for us to get into the B final here. We're holding up hope.
Got it. Okay, well, and you can also throw it out there. There's a Hockey Fights team waiting to be made. It's just in the mix. I just have to send in some DMs out, and we will be able to set the tone for you guys next year.
Well, I was going to say, if anyone could put together a team with like legit NHLers, I know we had Jay Rosehill last year on Team DFO, but like the Hockey Fights pull, and like you said in the DMs, it could do it.
I'm just saying, float it out at your championship acceptance speech.
The Nation Network could really house a team of full-on ex-NHL players. That'd actually be a nasty team to get out there. Tyler, one of my last ones for you. Obviously, the Oilers Thursday night is one of the most entertaining games I have seen all season. And much like the Vancouver Canucks, the Buffalo Sabres are spiraling right now. I'm curious, on paper, this should be a whomping from the Edmonton Oilers on home ice, taking on one of the worst teams in the NHL. We have, however, seen the Edmonton Oilers play with their food a little bit, playing down to their competition. There's obviously always the old afternoon matinee thing going on with the fan base that I just don't think is accurate anymore about this team. But what would be your key to victory in this one? Because like I just mentioned, on paper, this should be an ass kicking for the Oilers.
Yeah, like it really, really should be here. I don't know. You're right. The Oilers have a tendency to play with their food. There have been nights this year where, hey, they've played with their food and ultimately they still eat. Think about that Anaheim squeaker. Think about the game against San Jose where Ekholm had to tie it up with 10 seconds left and they win it in overtime. So I'm relatively confident in an Oilers win. I mean, hey, if you want me to tie this into a little Bet365 talk for you, am I confident or am I laying any money on the puck line? It's not juicy enough for me right now. Even the puck line's only -105. So probably digging into the same game parlays here. I think Leon Draisaitl could feast tonight. This also might be a live bet spot. The Oilers have come out flat. Vancouver excluded. They come up flat in a couple games here. So maybe wait 5-10 minutes and then pounce on it. But I agree, like they should win. There's no reason the Oilers shouldn't be able to best the Buffalo Sabres in this hockey game. It's just a matter of, you're right, Edmonton staying dialed in and going, hey, and we talked about this, AB, on Oilers Nation every day coming into the new year, where it's like, hey, a good resolution for this team, like, get meaner. Don't come into this game and go sort of tiptoe around and slowly dip your toe in. Like, no, go out there and hit the Sabres in the mouth and be like, we're Stanley Cup contenders and this is the NHL. You're not on our level and we're going to prove it from the jump. And I would love to see that tonight. I'd love to see them, similar to Vancouver, come out, boom, punch them in the mouth early and just kill this Buffalo Sabres team's will. Because again, with the way things have been trending for them, I think it's entirely possible to do that.
They bullied the Vancouver Canucks on Thursday, and I would love to see them bully the lesser Sabres right now. I got two more here. One, give me a score prediction and an anytime goal scorer. What do you like?
I'm going to go ahead and say that the Oilers win 6-2. Jeff Skinner, that's an obvious one, but I think he's going to get his revenge goal. I kind of like it that I'm going to say Team Oilers Nation goes into the B final. We win that game 19-16, and Coombsy surprises us with a hat trick.
Coombsy is sneaky good. Also, Jeff Skinner plus 350 for an anytime goal on Bet365. And now my final one. I'm here to ask you about a Buffalo hockey team, but it's all about the Buffalo football team. This is the only time you'll hear me say, let's go Buffalo this weekend. But Ty, where is your confidence level as you head into Kansas City? Bills are a little bit more banged up than you would like them to be. Taylor Rapp, I believe, not going to be playing at all, hasn't practiced. But is this the year that Josh finally takes down Patrick Mahomes?
If your team is going into a championship game with the Super Bowl on the line like this, it's no fun if you're not confident. And listen, I'm going to pull the old "they're due" card. Josh Allen has been so good against the Kansas City Chiefs in every single playoff game against them. They are due. The Buffalo Bills are going to go to the Super Bowl, and you will hear me, Aaron. You're out in Sherwood Park. You will hear me all the way in St. Albert yelling, hey, let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Tonight, go Oilers.
Go Oilers, taking down one Buffalo team as well. Ty, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining us. Also, love the shameless Yeti mug right in front of you. I got mine over there, was drinking out of it this morning. Shout out Yeti, shout out Booster Juice. Most importantly, shout out the town of Jasper for all of their resiliency and being able to put on this tournament. But also, shout out you and put some ice on your guys' bruises, and please send me that photo of Jay's knee. I want to see that. I'm a sicko.
It's gross. I'll send it over to you. Thanks for having me on, boys. Have a good rest of your show, and hopefully After Dark is talking about an Oilers dub.
Whoop, whoop. Hope so. See ya. Goodbye, Tyler, and good luck with the Buffalo Bills tomorrow. He says they're due for a win. Previous history would tell you they're due for the most painful loss that you could possibly imagine or experience. But who knows? I think Ty and the Bills have been through more than enough heartbreak even before he was alive. They lost a Super Bowl in 4 consecutive seasons. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemies in any regard. That is terrible. I've lost Super Bowls before. I've cried after losing Super Bowls before. It's a tough go.
I know you said you're a sicko, but I'm a sicko for hearing Buffalo fans say that this is the year. I just like when I heard Tyler saying all that, I feel like I've heard that so many times. That because like when I lived in Halifax, we got Buffalo feeds for our news for the American channels that we would get on our cable, and so I've seen the Bills news for years. It's Sabres fans. Bills fans are a different breed, like you said. They're built through pain and suffering, and jumping through tables is just part and parcel of that.
Also getting covered in ketchup and mustard. Also, Brett Holden, producer in the chat right now. I'm going to do it in my Brett voice. I've lost Super Bowls before, is what he typed into the chat. No, you haven't. Only I have, because the Bears are dog shit. That's enough football talk. Let's turn our attention back to the Oilers. Suck on that one, Bert. But Thursday night, like I said, was arguably one of my favorite games of the season. The Oil dummy the Canucks by a score of 6-2. Here you see it. Hyman 3 points. Leon 3 points. Nuge had a night. Kapanen, Rico, and then Corey Perry. He does get 1 assist and gets on the score sheet, but brother, it's what he did that didn't go on the score sheet. He straight bullied the shit out of the Vancouver Canucks in that game, and we saw it kind of building a little bit. The Oilers Great first period, 3-0 lead, becomes a 4-0 lead in the second. Connor Garland takes one extra poke at Calvin Pickard. Shit hits the fan. You see Troy Stetcher going after him, Zach Hyman going after him, Darnell Nurse going after him, and then Corey Perry couldn't quite get Garland, so had to settle for Quinn Hughes and RKOing him into the middle of the ice. It was fantastic, and can't really see what it is.
The Wendell and Corey Perry trolling.
That troll face, baby. Because like what you just kind of mentioned there, he put on a masterclass on how to troll out on the ice, how to be a rat. When he used to do that shit, it would drive me up the wall, and it's insane how happy it makes me now that he's on my team. There's been so much discussion. We posted a clip from Thursday night of me going hand up accountability. Couldn't have been more wrong about the Corey re-signing this past summer. The number, whatever, he's been worth every penny. 8 goals and 8 assists for the fourth liner. Corey Perry, masterclass on Thursday night. And I get he's an older gentleman. I don't know if it will carry from game to game to game. I think that's harder when your body is that beat up, but hopefully he brings that same bully mentality to the Buffalo Sabres tonight, because he was fan favorite number 1 after Thursday night.
Absolutely. I really do think that I'm hopeful that yesterday, or the game against the Canucks, is the new turning point for this team. I think that the Oilers had it way too easy against the Boston Bruins, and that kind of seems to have sent them off into a bit of a challenging spin, where they did lose one game to the Penguins, but have been able to rattle off some wins since then. And I really feel like, yeah, they took that first period against the Vancouver Canucks and reset the tone for this team. I had that Perry shit-eating grin on my face during that entire game, because I have been screaming from the rafters, asking for some team toughness to go along with our talent and our scoring. And you see it with the Canucks, and you can see it time and time again with this team. When you do that, those physical things, those little things to just kind of push the needle, it opens up some space for you, and then the wheels just come off. And the Edmonton Oilers, when all is said and done, are a better hockey team than most of the hockey teams they face on any given night. And they should be winning first periods 3-0 every single week, but we don't see it enough. And so, yeah, I'm hopeful that they turn it around, and Buffalo is a perfect opportunity to come in, and instead of being the Edmonton Oilers of old, where we play down to competition and we let them have their opportunity in the game to come in and show us what they've got before we come back and counterpunch, enough is enough. Just start stomping these teams right out of the gate, win that first period every single time, and take Corey Perry's mentality, grab the best guy and scrub his face a few times.
I see some people in here, I might have just lost it, but saying they don't necessarily want us to be going that hard tonight, that it could be a load management game. You can never take any team lightly in the NHL, especially without your captain and leader, Connor McDavid. But I do think there is a realm to say that sometimes, McDavid's sitting out for 3 games. I had already made peace that he wasn't getting the Hart Trophy. I got plus 450 Leon Draisaitl, and taking a couple games off earlier in the year, now before the Four Nations here. I also like what it's for Connor. It's good. I also like what it's done to this team and showing the rest of these guys, you're going to have to step up. What can you do without your leader, 97? Also, Brett said the next time I read Cup year, that he might have a surprise for me. So, Cup year.
Did he come to your house to do that for you?
He's in the background. I love it. Attaboy, Bird. I wasn't expecting that. Let's go one more time. Cup year.
Cup year.
Fantastic. Shout out to Brett, producer behind the scenes. Shout out to everybody coming in the chat and throwing down your cup year or your courtesy like as well. The Oilers, final thing before we get into our need to know, and then we got to go a little bit quicker here as well. Somebody in the chat, Southpaw. That's awesome. That is awesome, Brett. But the Oil expected to keep the same lineup as Thursday night. And why not? They were incredible in that hockey game. Yes, they were playing that struggling Canucks team, but the Buffalo Sabres, they're also a struggling Sabres team. Like I mentioned, playoff drought at 13 years. They're on pace this season. There you get a look at the Edmonton Oilers lineup. I loved that second line of Perry, Rico, and Hyman. More on that in just a bit, but part of how well they played, I'm like, Connor, take another game off because I want to see Zach Hyman continue to do what he did with that trio down low below the goal line. But back to the Sabres thing here. Oh, nice. You got Zach Hyman's numbers. 2 goals against the Vancouver Canucks, 17 goals in 43 games, making his case for the Team Canada roster. Still holding out hope, still cheering for injury against some of my own countrymen. But the Sabres, they're on pace this year for 70 points total. That would be a massive disappointment after they had 84 points last season. Hand up accountability. I picked the Sabres to make the NHL playoffs last season. Woof! Missed out on that one pretty bad. And it's the same thing I said to Ty. A number of top 10 picks being called up to the NHL way too quickly, being asked to carry the weight of a desperate city. That's Josh Allen's job, okay? Nobody else's. And they just can't keep these dudes. Numbers of guys they've traded. Rasmus Ristolainen, Sam Reinhart, Jack Eichel, Alex Nylander, Casey Middlestat, Matt Savoy. Now there's rumors involving Dylan Cousins. Now there's rumors involving Bowen Byram, who they just acquired at last year's deadline. This team is kind of a joke of an organization, and it doesn't just apply to the forwards and the decor, but the goalies as well, dude. UPL having a disappointing .897 season right now. They signed him to a 5-year, $23 million extension this past summer, but it's not even just him that they maybe gave that too quickly. Devin Levi last year rushed up to the NHL by the Sabres organization, trying to make him one of the first guys to go from college straight to the NHL. Shocker, didn't work out. Felt like they may have stunted the growth of Devin Levi a little bit. Sound familiar, Edmonton Oilers fans? But this team just simply cannot get out of their own way. And it's more of the same this year, Daniel.
Yeah, I did a little bit of reading. I went over to the enemy side of the Sabres blogs, and when you're looking at a fan base, and the storylines for this game are Connor McDavid is out, good news, and then the second one is Ryan McLeod is back, and that's their big celebration. For Oiler fans, that kind of puts it into perspective for you where the two franchises are at. We're talking about a guy who maybe was our third line center last year, would have been probably our fourth line center this year. And he's counted on for the offense in Buffalo right now. So yeah, I mean, it strikes me as a franchise that keeps trying to do things the traditional way that everybody else has rebuilt a franchise up every time. And they're like, and then they find themselves looking around like, I built it exactly like Rome. Why isn't it Rome? And it's that old Homer Simpson meme of, that barbecue looks great. Why doesn't mine look like that? I wish that Buffalo would commit to some bits that were a little bit outside of the box, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. You feel for that fan base as a fan base that has gone through a decade of darkness. Tough to be a Buffalo Sabres fan at this point.
The Super Gremlin's back in. He said Sabres should move to Atlanta, bring back the Thrashers. I am all in favor of bringing back the powder blue jersey. Sergeant Battle, good point. Buffalo's in need of a king like Ty Emerson. Too bad he's going to be an Edmonton Oiler for life. Lance Glad-McLeod is having a good season, though. Yeah, he is. He had a hat trick earlier. First guy to score a hat trick without registering a shot on goal for one of those goals. The final one diving in, it was incredible. But to add to the McLeod thing, he has more points than Dylan Cousins this season. It's disaster city over there right now. Like that I love Ryan McLeod. That should not be the case. Dylan Cousins, very good player, very well paid player as well. But we got to go quick. Let's move here. Willock need to know information courtesy of Willock Beef Jerky, because only the finest tasting meat products earn the Wilhock name. Made from 100% pure Alberta beef, their jerky is aged, seasoned, smoked, and marinated to savory perfection. So the Oilers standings watch. Da-na-na, da-na-na. They have a chance to grab sole possession of first place in the Pacific Division with 2 fat points this evening. Give me an Orange W. I'll give you first place in Pacific. 1 point back of the Vegas Golden Knights with a game in hand after the Golden Knights lost 4-3. Was it to the Blues last night? Why am I blanking on that? I think it was. They're also the Oilers 6 points up on the LA Kings, but the Kings, we got to even out these games in hand thing because we're 6 points up, but they have 3 games in hand. So I don't feel totally comfortable just yet. The Oilers went 1-0-1 against the Sabres last season. Total score in that 10-5 on aggregate. Tonight marks the first of 2 meetings this season, with the second one coming March 10th in Buffalo. Then it's a Jeff Skinner revenge game, baby. Played in Buffalo for 6 seasons from 2018 to 2024. Had 291 points in a Buffalo uniform. Revenge game goal, anyone? Plus 350 for Jeff Skinner. He's also on the Oilers' top power play. Smash that one. We like it. And revenge angle, you got to love it. And then finally, Stuart Skinner is expected to be in the crease for the Oil. He's lost his last 2 starts, losing consecutive starts for the first time since October 19th and October 22nd. Stu, he's been able to bounce back. He just didn't do it in the last one. Sabres side of need to know, 18-25-5 record. Dead last in the Atlantic, dead last in the Eastern Conference, and third last in the NHL, on pace to miss the playoffs for the 14th consecutive season. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10 games, and they rank near the bottom in every major statistical category. 29th in goals allowed, 24th in shots allowed, 20th on the PK offensively, 22nd in shots on goal per game, 27th with the power play. But weirdly enough, they are 13th in goals for per game. So Stuart Skinner will need to be on his game. We've looked and mentioned some of those names. They still do have sneaky good young offensive talent. None more so than Tage Thompson, who leads the team in points. 22 goals, 40 points in 43 games played. There's a lot of young players on Buffalo. They needed some of that veteran leadership, veteran scoring in the lineup. And they've got it this year from Jason Zucker and Alex Tuch. They both have 17 and 16 goals respectively. Rasmus Dahlin, 34 points in 40 games on the back end. He's not the problem in Buffalo. He's a great hockey player, but it's disappointing numbers from key guys. Dylan Cousins, 23 points on the season. McLeod has 24 on the season. Owen Power has been largely disappointing points-wise for a former high draft pick like he was. And then I don't know if we still have confirmation on the goaltenders for the Buffalo Sabres.
You have confirmed it's James Reimer.
It is going to be James Reimer, who has a
dailyfaceoff.com.
He's shout out Daily Faceoff. I was looking earlier. Yep, it is confirmed now as well. 1-5-1 record. Woof. But he's got a 267 goals against with an 891 save percentage. And those numbers, pretty respectable, playing on the 3rd worst team in the NHL. So shout out James Reimer. Let's go now. Sherwood Ford Giant storyline tonight, this afternoon. Damn it. Brought to you by Sherwood Ford the Giant. Tired of dealership hassles? Well, Sherwood Ford and Sherwood Park is all about convenience and upfront pricing with their Giant Deal program. Get clear, no-nonsense pricing on new and used Fords online with all incentives included. Plus, enjoy the ease of mobile service, free pickup and delivery, and same-day or next-day service appointments. Storyline, final game without Connor McDavid. I honestly thought this would be a bigger loss than it has been. The Oilers, yes, 1-1. That loss coming against the best team in the NHL and the Capitals, and the Oilers, in my opinion, thoroughly outplayed them in that one. Storyline, trying to get other guys not named Connor McDavid some confidence before he comes back. That includes that line of Perry, Rico, and Hyman. And then specifically Jeff Skinner tonight as well, former team, top power play. I'd like to see him get out there. Key to victory, stay composed, get an early lead against this team, and ride off smoothly into the sunset from there on out. Dan, we got to go quick, but do you have a storyline or a key to victory from our friends from Sherwood Ford, the Giant?
Yes, I agree. I think that for this team, if you want to be able to have a nice, easy game, get up early, get up often, and then you can just coast the rest of the way. I think that the first period is going to be key against James Reimer.
Yeah, I agree. And this Sabres team, they're beaten down. They're also on the final game of their Pacific road trip. They've been all over the place. Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary, no Edmonton. They want to get this one over with and get back home to Buffalo to watch that football game probably tomorrow. Bert, pull it up for me now. I'm seeing we're getting late confirmation from our boy Tony Barr, but the lineup is what you see on your screen. Pods with Dry and Arvey. Then Corey Perry with Adam Henrique and Zach Hyman. that trio cannot say enough good things about what they did on Thursday. Third line, it's Brown Mark with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Getting confused with my nicknames. I've got so many of them. Jeffrey Scotty Skinner with Noah Philp and Kasperi Kapanen. And then on the D side, Ekholm with Booch, Nurse with Stetch, Kulak with Ty Emberson. Got my eyes on Jeff Skinner, obviously. But then that Perry Hyman Rico trio were so damn good in that Thursday game. And I love being right. Doesn't happen very often on this pregame show, but me and Pangs were talking about expecting those three veteran trio, big-bodied guys to play down low and dominate puck possession below the goal line. That's exactly what they did. Adam Henrique scored a goal from behind the goal line with the quickest of hands. Ekholm rings it around the boards. They do that. Zach Hyman, obviously, first game bubbleless, goes out and scores 2 goals. I do not know how long this trio is going to stay together with McDavid coming back Monday against the Seattle Kraken. But if this is the last time I'm going to see it, I'm expecting big things from these guys. And over under on how many times I've said it this afternoon, bully ball from this trio tonight.
Well, shout out Mainlander Tim for his joke there in the comments. It's exactly what I thought when you said that the Sabres want to get back to Buffalo, which is just not something you hear very often. Great joke. But yeah, I don't know, like this, I saw the chat was talking about how James Reimer has goalied us in the past. According to StatMuse, his record against us is 7-5-6. So he's won a few games, but in 19 games against the Oilers with a 3.25 save percentage and an 3.25 goals against average and an 0.899 save percentage. Wow. Don't ask me to do statistics on live shows. But yeah, I don't know. Like this team is just this should be a walk for this team. I think that the skill is going to overtake, and that's where I do agree with you on the Jeff Skinner thing. I think that fourth line is going to be buzzing, and I love their energy that they bring to the game. They're not forced to play the defensive game that we need out of them especially against a team in Buffalo. So yeah, I like the Oilers' chances overall in this game to just be able to run it up.
Noah Philp, awesome in that last game. Kasperi Kapanen, awesome in every game he's played for the Oilers, no matter what role he's in. First line, second line, fourth line. He don't give a shit. He goes out there, lays hits, wins a race to the puck in the last game, gets his own rebound and scores. You like that? What we don't like is what Super Gremlin said. Remember when we all thought Skinner would score 20 at least with the Oil? Me? No, I never said that. I never said Victor Arvidsson would score 34 goals this season.
I said 70 points for Skinner this year on Oilers Nation Radio this year.
Well, if he scores tonight, it'll help me, and I've got some money on him as well. Let's go to the goaltender report, the starting goaltender report, brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Hit the trails this winter and the waves next summer as fellow hockey fans. The team at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine are all about helping Oilers Nation fans gear up. They're home of an ATV for just $50 bi-weekly, or you can get a boat for as low as $105 bi-weekly in the summer. Sherwood Power Sports and Marine are hockey fans, helping hockey fans get ready for their next adventure with motorcycles, quads, e-bikes, boats, scooters, whatever fun toy you can imagine. They got it. Also, keep your eyes peeled for the Power Sports and Marine commercial that gets played during the Oilers games. It's James Reimer, Stuart Skinner, 18, 11, and 3 on the season, but in his last 18 games, 12, 5, and 1 on the season. Suck on that one, Super Gremlin. He's Stuart Skinner's biggest hater, I know. And in that 18-game stretch, 2.25 goals against, 917 save percentage. Are those numbers good enough for you, Gremlin? That's my buddy. That's why I'm giving him such a hard time in there. But coming off back-to-back losses, first time since the mid of October. He's got good numbers against the Sabres in his career. 2-2-1 record, but a 2.60 goals against, 908 save percentage. Buffalo's been a joke kind of all season, and I went through all their team numbers. The only one that they're in the teens and not in the 20s for is goals for per game. Regardless of where they're at in the standings, a lot of these guys do have good skills. Skinner will be tested this evening. Damn it, this afternoon.
Absolutely. And you see, when you see a goals against average of 3 from James Reimer on the season and only 1 win for record in his 9 games, obviously the guy's not getting run support from this team. So yeah, it's I think it should be an okay game. But I mean, for the Stuart Skinner haters, I find that I feel like my response is you're not watching around the league enough to see how the other goalies and other teams are dealing with their situations. We just talked about a team in the Colorado Avalanche who are still reeling from the absolute turmoil that they were put into by Georgiev this season. This team, yes, Stuart Skinner had his struggles to start the season, but Pickard was fine as his backup, and we've gotten through that. We're now one of the best teams in the league. We're talking about being first in the division with Stuart Skinner as our starting goaltender. I fail to see the point that Stuart Skinner is worse than the top 8 teams, other goalies that are available, and then your option to replace him ain't any better. So we're going to be fine.
Super Gremlin, I await your response in the chat. The amount of 3 a.m. arguments we've gotten into about Stuart Skinner, I am not proud to say how many times it's happened before, but I ride with my guys. The other side, obviously, going to be James Reimer. This blew my mind, okay? So the Sabres dead last in the Atlantic, dead last in the East, third last in the entire NHL. Did you know they have made one move this entire season? And it was claiming James Reimer off of waivers earlier in the year. Shocker. That one didn't fix the entire squad. Don't know what Kevin Adams was thinking there, but I was on Reddit today. Dan, we're both Reddit guys. Buffalo fans are pretty pissed that that's the only thing that's been done all year. I also see some people saying, I hope that hopefully Byram wants to stay to sign with us after today. Maybe he just never leaves Edmonton ever again. A man can dream. Let's go now to the away lineup quickly, brought to you by Greta Bar Yag and Brunch for Ben, coming up February 22nd down at Greta Bar. Doors open 10 a.m. Puck drop between Edmonton and Philly will be 11 a.m. I'll be pre-gaming 10 a.m. live from the bar. Tickets $20 at nationgear.ca. It's the 3rd annual Brunch for Ben. Obviously a great cause. Going all towards the Ben Stelter Foundation, helping with cancer research and families going through cancer and whatnot. You don't need me to tell you, you come to this event, it's going to be awesome. There's all kinds of prizes, games, excitement, but it's going to a great place, just like where all your super chats are going. And I don't think I've seen a single super chat today. All right, people. Let's see if we can get some in here a little bit later. Just kidding. Do what you need to do. Bert, pull it up for me here. The lineup projected for the Buffalo Sabres. We see it in warm-up. JJ Peterka with Kulich and Tage Thompson. Jason Zucker with Dylan Cousins and Alex Tuck. Zach Benson with Peyton Cribbs and Jack Quinn. Beck Malenstein, which if you remember Oilers Nation every day last season, we wanted this dude on the Oilers, and I completely forgot he even existed. Then it's Ryan McLeod, 4th line center with Sam Lafferty. Your deep pairings, Rasmus Dahlin with Bowen Byram, Owen Power with Matthias Samuelsson, and then it's Bryson and Yoki Haru, and then James Reimer, of course, with UPL backing him up. We got to go quick, so Daniel, I'll just ask you, give me your player to watch from the Buffalo Sabres. Who do you got your eyes on this afternoon? Damn it, I did it again.
Frankly, I am going to be watching Ryan McLeod. I miss the guy. I know that the price tag was great and it was a good acquisition for the Oilers, but I'm excited to see what he does coming back in the lineup. Also happy to see Jason Zucker was able to make it into the lineup today. I know he was a game time decision.
This is why I love everybody, because we got super chats in here. Reminder, it all goes towards the Ben Stelter Foundation. Bob Stoffer, $6.99. My Oilers Nation subscription. Yeah, I always say that our content is free $99, but when you guys do this kind of stuff, it's all going to a good place. Then Tammy, $10. Well, that won't do. Here you go, Bordzy. Thank you very much, Tammy. And then, God damn it, Super Gremlin. He's in $2.79. Haven't seen Stu make the save. I will build a highlight reel and show you where Stu. Nope, it's happening again. It's all in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation. Super Gremlin, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Ping Pong Master, looking for one from you too. And my player to watch, without a doubt, it's Tage Thompson on this team. He leads them in points. He leads them in goals. Not many dudes are built the way that Tage Thompson is and can rip pucks the way that Tage Thompson can rip them. So keep your eyes on him. He's a guy who has the potential to beat Stuart Skinner, I will say. Let's go now. It's time to talk bets. It's time for Bordzy's Bankroll, brought to you by Bet365. They're a proud partner of Pregaming. Open an account with them today. Bet on a huge range of markets. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today and use the promo code NATION. Mr. Burns, sick 'em, baby. She says, my condolences on your loss of eyesight. Mr. Burns, I'm pretty sure you've met Super Gremlin in person as well, but those were the playoffs. That's a little bit blurry. Your options tonight, Hyman, anytime goal, plus 120. He scored 2 without the bubble. I loved what I saw from that line of Corey Perry and Adam Henrique and Himes. Continue to let it roll. We also know Zach Hyman scores goals in spurts. He gets on hot streaks, can get on some cold streaks. I see a hot streak in his future. Then next one, I forget who said it at the West Side Shane said it at the very beginning of the show. It's Leon. It's 2+ points. It's a smash every single time I see it, especially without 97 in the lineup. It's a cool, even minus 110 on Bet365. And then finally, this one, I don't know how confident I feel in it. I kind of rushed it. I'm not going to lie to you. These 1 p.m. pre-gamings really had me rushed, but we're riding with Bush. 1+ power play point at plus 155. The Sabres have the 20th ranked PK, so it technically is better than the Edmonton Oilers. But Bush, he's the quarterback in there without 97. I expect the puck to be on his stick a little bit more. And then honorable mention, it's not on here, but you bet your ass I bet it. Jeff Skinner, anytime goal, plus 350. Revenge game angle against his former team. And Daniel, which of these 3 bets do you like the most?
Well, I was able to. I had baked a Zach Hyman goal into my last parlay that I put together for the last game, so I really like that pick there. I don't mind your Bouchard rush pick, though. I think that the power play is going to need to be able to get tuned up in some of these games, and tonight's a perfect opportunity for the defenseman to be blasting a Bouch bomb in there for us.
Super Gremlin's getting into it. I love it. Yes, Lance, you have met him before. He also said my comment had 8 likes. They also say eye care can be expensive in there as well. Shout out to the Super Gremlin. That will do it for us for pre-gaming with the Bordzy. Then once again, reminder, take 2. Once again, reminder, we will be live right here after the game on the Oilersnation YouTube. It's me, it's Daniel, it's producer Brett Holden behind the scenes, hanging out at home, making sure we stay on the rails, and hopefully breaking down an Edmonton Oilers W. I'm sure there will be football talk in there as well. But I love you all. I appreciate all the super chats. They're still coming in, right? Ask and you shall receive. All right. Like I asked for it and I got it. Bob Stoffer, Super Gremlin is for sure a child. And I hope they are because an adult doesn't do these things. No, he's my good buddy. No, he's my good buddy. Let's go, Oilers. Vibes are high. And of course, Gremlin, I love you, Gremlin. I appreciate you in the chat. Everybody be nice to my friends. And come back for the post
friends with young children. Weird.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for us. That's time to head out. Big shout out to our sponsors, Sherwood Ford the Giant, Sherwood Power Sports Marine, Greta Barrier, Bet365, Will Hawk Beef Jerky, Come on the Nation Vacation, Drink On Company, donate to the Ben Stelter Foundation, and peace out, everybody. I love you all. You too, Gremlin.